Evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. Tonight's topic, I'm going to talk about treating your life as a business. Now, the reason why I am bringing this subject matter into play, it's because in today's society, adults as well as children really aren't taught how to make proper decisions and manage money. Most of us have a high debt to income ratio, bad credit. We don't understand what FICO scores are. A lot of our debt goes to collection agencies, and we don't really understand how to read a credit report, nor do we know how to make concrete decisions. Certainly, you have some of us who are going to school, getting an education. Now, again, education is basically a requirement to get a job to benefit who? The white man. That's what it is. Most jobs, you need a degree. And the reason why you need a degree, because the economy is so bad, and you check that video that I did last night on the economy, the degree is just used to separate candidates when it comes to competing for jobs. Now, the reason why I'm telling you that life should be treated as a business, because we apply different situations to challenges each and every day, and we don't even know it. This is why I always look at where do I want to go based on what I have today. One of the main problems is we don't have enough resources. Now, how do we get the resources? Well, resources are based on what type of job you have. But as black people, we don't own anything. We can go out here and say, we're going to build a black community. Well, can't build anything if you don't own anything. And what we have to understand when it comes to our own lives is buying materials that we don't need, such as a lot of shoes, a lot of clothing, cars that basically depreciate by $6,000 when you leave the lot, are unnecessary. What business people do, they try to utilize the resources and they invest when they make revenue. And if they have a lot more expenses, then they start to decrease on items that aren't beneficial to the business at this time. Now, what you have to do in life is basically the same thing. When you go shopping, one of the things that I always tell people is make sure you eat. Make sure you have a list. And the reason why you have a list, and I use a list all the time, because part of a business, and you can utilize this with your life. Now we're talking about application, not theory. Application, because this actually works. It will help you discipline yourself to follow through on a commitment. That's right. The list that you make is a commitment. You don't go over or you don't go under. And you have an idea of price checking when you go into a grocery store. Furthermore, these holidays, These holidays, for the most part, if you celebrate these holidays correctly, you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of gifts. You can also take the challenges in life as you would do business and manage yourself better. What I mean by managing yourself better, case in point, learn how to cook in your house instead of eating out. I can tell you, I get that urge to go get the $5 special at Pizza Hut. But remember, if you have that item delivered to your house, there's going to be an extra fee charge for the driver, then a tip, and then you have tax included. So what you thought of as a $5 special becomes $16. And you have to look at where that money went. And I'm sharing this information because a good business person understands money management. And once you understand money management and utilizing the resources that you have, you can make better decisions. See, life is very short. And we get too much of our information from the media, from school that is providing us with theoretical information. As you know, I don't deal with theoretical information. I deal with hands-on. You must apply the information. And the first order of business is knowing how to apply it. One thing that I can share with you with one of my experiences, I filed bankruptcy a long time ago. I made poor decisions. I don't want anybody to do what I did, because I didn't even know anything about it. Because I was spending more than I was making. I was buying cars that I didn't need. I had an apartment that I couldn't pay for, trying to live big time. But once I got help, I became familiar with how money works. They know the value of $1. Now I know the value of $1, and I can make better decisions based on utilizing my financial resources to help me live a better life. Also, you have to understand part of your life is this. How do you want to live? Do you really have to live a lifestyle that is going to be utilized to put up a front to try to impress people? If you have to do that, then those are people you don't need. See, in business, when you're trying to succeed, you know there are going to be people out there who are going to have a little jealousy and envy. So what do you do with those individuals? Because you have individuals over here that really don't care about themselves, and they're not going to progress. They're not going to follow rules of utilizing their life when it comes to challenges, just like in the business world. So what they're going to try to do, they're going to try to impose their will on you and shame you. And at the end of the day, there'll be a weight around your neck. What you do to people, and this includes family, you have to get rid of. And it's just like business. If you don't have the employees who are doing the job for you, you have to terminate their employment because it becomes a hindrance. And life is about responsibility. Oh, it's challenging. You talk about the economy, you go from a recovery to a peak, to a descending or a fall, to a trough, back up. Every day you go through the same cyclical effect in life. But if you don't get a handle of it, it's going to be a lot worse. And when it gets worse, what do? We make desperate decisions. Now, it's for individuals who are going to give me theoretical information from being so-called educated. Let me tell you this. You're only educated in school. You've gone through a curriculum that has been designed for you to get, again, a particular job. But that curriculum doesn't work out here in the real world. In fact, you have more real world challenges than you do on your job. Because after you leave that job, you have to come right back out here to the real world. And if you are not able to communicate, structure yourself, discipline yourself in the real world, it is going to be hell on wheels. You're not going to be able to survive this life. And this is why people have suicide, because life gets too tough for them. But if you use some of this information that I have given you with common sense, again, you must use your hands. And I'm talking about production, application. You know, I can get on YouTube and make 1 million videos. But I wouldn't do that because it's not cost effective for me. Outside of YouTube, I actually have my life that goes on. And I must maintain my due diligence every day. But what I can share from YouTube and what other brothers can share from YouTube is their experience, because life is different from everybody. But if you take the brass taxes of it all, it's actually the same. We just have different environments, different challenges. But a challenge is a challenge if you have the motivation, use that word again, and you prioritize, you can change things in your life. But you have to understand that in order to get to a solution, you have to admit that you have a problem. Because one thing about business, and I'm going to the employee-manager relationship, well, you have some managers and employees in business, instead of taking responsibility if an issue occurs, they slide it under the rug or they pass it to somebody else. Well, that's what we do in business as well. Well, that's what we do in real life, because we're afraid of the repercussions. But the repercussions are going to be worse if we try to deflect from our own situations. I can't preach to somebody when I'm in a situation that I'm not beholden of. But what I can tell you is, don't make the same mistake I made. You know, as a person, we are individuals. We're supposed to manage our lives properly. Now, nobody's perfect, but the people who get farther in life tend to learn from the mistakes so they can make better decisions. And another thing, a number of us are hard-headed. A hard head and a soft ass don't mix. It just keeps you really defeated. Now, some people like the defeatist attitude because that's an excuse for them to utilize the challenge to actually achieve something in life. And what I mean the challenge, the situation that they have today is not favorable. So they want to become a victim and not use the constructive or positive energy or the resources, because you don't have to have a lot of resources to change your life on a psychological level. Or you don't have to have a lot of resources to cut back on spending. You don't have to have a lot of resources to know that if you're dating a person that's not right for you, you know in the end there's going to be more and more conflict, and it could lead into something that's destructive like domestic violence and even death. Or if you have a baby with a person that is not worthy of being a father or mother, well, that child now suffers. But at the end of the day, if you really want to keep your life at bay, understand the issues that you have and take ownership, and then apply the principles. Life is short. Life's not a bitch. People use that term, again, as a defeatist mechanism. Understand that if you're that old dog that doesn't want to learn new tricks, the old dog's going to die because you're useless. And just because you have a job and an education doesn't make you better than someone else. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get out here and make bad choices. And it doesn't make you smarter than anybody else either. You have to utilize the application of common sense and know that we all have limitations and we're vulnerable. We're not perfect. And we have to do a self-assessment of ourselves. This is what businesses do. They do a SWOT analysis. Where are our strengths today? Where are weaknesses, our opportunities, and threats? We need to utilize that mechanism or that metric for ourselves as well. But we must utilize the common sense and the education that we have obtained from other experiences, because we're going to make mistakes. But in the end, if you correct the mistakes and you learn from them, you'll help yourself and you can help others. Because I just don't get in front of a camera and just speak propaganda. I'm going to tell you what I've been through so you don't have to make the mistakes I made. And I'll tell people off camera, hey, don't go down road A, go down road B. It's the most heavily traveled. And listen, communicate. And you will never learn everything in life because it's impossible. But if you utilize your life as a business format, you'll make better decisions. And that's dealing with the social issues and educational issues, political issues, and financial issues. That's this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for Saturday, December 10th, 2016. You can tune in to the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. Now, if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Also on this channel, I don't engage in emotional, controversial issues, nor do I participate in drama or unnecessary bickering. This is a channel that is for education, so please be respectful. Remember, knowledge is power. Also, if you have a business that you would like for me to discuss or even a topic, whether it's on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please feel free to comment. Make sure that your comments are pithy, no bloviating or pettifogging. If you wish to opine. Once again, thank you for listening to this video. Until next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.